Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Vidyanagar Public School's online class. And I hope you all are very fine and very healthy at your home. Today, we will start a very new chapter, chapter 5, and all of you can take page number 53 of your course book. Okay, we will start the chapter The Mask. And what is a mask? Yes, you are very much familiar with this word mask these days, right? We all are forced to use this mask these days in order to protect our health, right? But here in this chapter, the mask is not the mask that we are using these days, but it's a different sort of mask you all would have used when you were very young. The mask of certain animals, the mask of certain famous people, or like Mayavi or Kuttu Sen, or we would have used certain lions and other animals' masks, right? And here the mask is certain different sort. These type of dreadful masks that we are talking about, not the mask that we are wearing these days. Okay. So let's see what the story about. Before that, we must know who wrote this story, right? The author of the story is Satyajit Ray. Okay, Satyajit Ray was a very famous Indian writer, and he wrote many short stories, and he is actually a filmmaker, and he is a very talented, multi-talented person. Like, he wrote short stories, he is very much good in filmmaking and writing novels, etc. Okay, so we all are very lucky to learn his story. We all are very lucky to read one of his famous stories. Okay, so let's see what the story about. Yes, so all of you, please keep your textbooks open when I read. Okay, and read through the lines, go through the lines when I read, and see how I am pronouncing, and listen how I am pronouncing certain words. Okay, here we go. The story takes place in Darjeeling, where Feluda and Topshe are holidaying. Feluda is a private detective, while his cousin Topshe is the narrator of the story. One evening, while sitting at the mall, Topshe accidentally overhears Rajan Babu, an amiable old man living a peaceful retired life in Darjeeling, confiding in Tingori Babu, his tenant, about a threatening letter that he had received by post. Thinking that it may require investigation, Topshe tells Feluda about it. The story begins with Feluda and Topshe visiting Rajan Babu. So this is the context of the story, that where the story is taking place, it's in Darjeeling. Do you know where is Darjeeling? Yes, it's a beautiful place in West Bengal. Okay, where our two main characters, Feluda and Topshe. Who is Feluda? The private detective. And Topshe. Topshe, who is he? Our Feluda's, the private detective's cousin, Topshe, and he is the narrator of the story. Who is the narrator? Yes, the person who narrates this story. So here, Topshe is the narrator. They are holidaying in Darjeeling, where they were sitting in a mall. They were sitting in a mall, and accidentally, our Topshe overhears someone else talks, right? Whom he is overhearing? Yes, he is overhearing the talks of Rajan Babu. And Rajan Babu was talking about a secret event, right? Yes. Whom he was talking with? Rajan Babu? Whom he was talking with? Yes, his tenant. What do you mean by tenant? Yes, the person who is staying in someone's house by paying rent, right? Yes. So Tingori Babu is Rajan Babu's tenant, and Rajan Babu is talking about what? A threatening letter he received recently, right? Yes. And this secret, which is shared by Rajan Babu, was overheard by our narrator. Who is our narrator? Taubshai. Okay. And Taubshai tells this to Feluda. Feluda is our main character, our private detective, Feluda. Okay. So Taubshai talks about this to Feluda, thinking that this incident needs to be investigated, right? So let's see the story. And the story begins when our narrator Taubshai and Feluda, his cousin Feluda, is visiting Rajan Babu, right? Yes. Rajan Babu's house had a lovely old world charm. Cane furniture and strange masks adorned the living room. Very recently, Rajan Babu had developed an interest in antiques and curios and had started collecting them. So what is it talking about? Yes, Rajan Babu's house is very lovely. Why? It is arranged in a such a way there are cane furniture. What is cane furniture? Yes, cane furniture is this you can see this picture. Here I am showing cane furniture. Okay. So these were the furniture that we were using in olden days, but in these days we are using such a sophisticated cushion type sofa settees, right? Yes. So his living room is arranged with cane furniture, and on the walls there are certain masks. So the living room is adorned by all these things. Okay, what do you mean by adorned? Very attractive, right? Okay, the living room is so much attractive. And very recently, Rajan Babu started collecting what? Antiques and curios. Antiques means very old, valuable things. Okay, and curios also means very rare, precious and valuable things. Okay, he started collecting them. As it turned out, Rajan Babu had once helped Feluda's father, so he willingly took up Feluda's offer to help him find out who had sent the threatening letter. He was just about to tell us about it when Tingori Babu joined us. So, Feluda's father once helped our Rajan Babu. So, Rajan Babu come to know about Feluda. So, Feluda's offer, Feluda is just giving an offer to Rajan Babu that he would investigate about the threatening letter, whereabout, right? Who sent the letter and all will be investigated by Feluda. So he is offering that. So Rajan Babu accepts that request because he come to know that Rajan Babu got once helped Feluda's father. So Feluda wanted to give something back to our Rajan Babu. So he is offering that he will help him to find out who sent this letter to him. Introducing himself as Rajan Babu's tenant, Tingori Babu said, I did hesitate to move into Rajan's house as I have a special weakness for cheroots. Only when he said that he did not mind the smell of cheroots did I accept the offer. So, in between Tingori Babu joins. I know I have already told you who is Tingori Babu. He's Rajan Babu's tenant, right? So Rajan Babu is telling that the Tingori Babu is telling that he rarely comes inside Rajan Babu's house because he is having a habit of using cheroots. What is cheroots? Yes, it's a kind of cigar. Okay. it's actually a kind of cigar, or what we say, cigarettes. Okay. So he do not want to disturb Rajan Babu, because he is afraid whether Rajan Babu likes the smell of these cheroots. Okay. Feluda turned to Rajan Babu and asked, "Do you have the letter here?" Then Feluda asked for the letter. Rajan Babu took it out of his pocket. It was not handwritten. The words, "Be prepared to pay for your misdeeds," had been cut out from newspapers and pasted there. So he got the letter, and what this letter? In that letter, it is written, "Be prepared to pay for your misdeeds." And this letter is not a handwritten letter. Instead, these words were cut out from newspaper. Okay. Rajan Babu said, "It was posted in Darjeeling. Unfortunately, I threw the envelope away." So he threw the envelope away. Feluda asked, "Do you suspect anyone? Does anyone visit you regularly?" So Feluda is asking certain questions. So as a detective, he must get certain clues, or he must get certain evidences. So he started to ask questions that to our Rajan Babu. Do you suspect anyone? Do you have anyone whom you suspect? And anyone visit you regularly? He is asking. Then Rajan Babu is telling, "No, I can't recall ever harming anyone, and I don't get too many visitors. Dr. Phony Mitra comes occasionally, only when I am ill, and Mr. Abani Mohan Ghoshal has recently started visiting me." So he is telling nobody used to come daily, or no one comes here daily, and Dr. Phony Mitra comes occasionally, very rarely. In Dr. Mitra comes when our Rajan Babu is not feeling well. Just then Mr. Ghoshal walked in. Then Mr. Ghoshal comes in. He was an expert in antiques and wanted to examine the authenticity of the antique bell that Rajan Babu had bought. So why he is coming? Mr. Ghoshal wanted to. Mr. Ghoshal, he is an expert. He knows to check the authenticity of these antiques. So what do you mean by authenticity? Yes, genuineness, whether it is real, whether it is having this much years of oldness. All these things can be checked by an expert only. So Mr. Ghoshal, he is an expert in that. So he comes to check whether this antique bell that Rajan Babu had purchased recently is authentic or not, whether it is genuine or not. As we got up to leave, Feluda moved towards the mantelpiece to take a close look at the 3 photographs there. Rajan Babu explained that the first one was his wife's photograph, second one was of himself as a child, and the third one was of his son, Prabir. So the order and Feluda was about to leave the house of Rajan Babu, but suddenly Feluda noticed some pictures on the mantelpiece. Mantelpiece means, yes, a kind of wooden structure around the fireplace. Okay, and above that there is 3 pictures, and Rajan Babu is saying that one is my wife's picture, and other one is me himself, that when I was young, and the other one is my son's picture. His name is Prabir. When we met Tingori Babu in a coffee shop the next day. So next day, our author Topsy and his cousin Feluda, the detective, is meeting Tingori Babu, and Tingori Babu is saying that, "I think Ghoshal is a crook. He pretends to be interested in art and antiques, but I think he only wants to buy them cheap here and sell them to foreigners at a higher rate. So he is telling something bad about Mr. Goshal, that he wanted to purchase things from our Rajan Babu and for a cheap rate, and he wanted to resell it for the foreigners with a higher price. So he is talking about Mr. Goshal. So today we will stop our story here, where our narrator Topshe and his cousin Feluda, the private detective, and Tingori Babu, the tenant of Rajan Babu, is talking together in a coffee shop about Mr. Ghoshal. So we will stop here. Okay, we will continue with this story in the next class. And here you have the homework. You can write down the difficult words that I have explained in the story into your notebook. Okay, and we can meet in the live session if you have any doubts. Okay, take care. See you all.